So now I want to explain these constraints to you within some code. And then we're going to run into a problem with constraints and figure out how to solve it. So once again, constraints go down, sizes go up, parent sets position. So here we have two containers. This container has a width and height of 200. And we said constraints go down. So this is above this container in the widget tree. And this container is 100 by 100, so smaller. It's the blue one, and then this is the red one. So this main container is above this container in the widget tree. So this one makes the constraints go down. So the constraints here are 200 by 200. Let's say we want to change this blue container to be 300 pixels wide. You can save it. You'll see it doesn't go past 200. And that's because this container sets the constraints. Now, sizes go up. So if we set this to being smaller than the constraints, this container specifically sets what size it wants to be. We can set it to anything like 40 and even 190. So we can set whatever size we want for this container to be. Now, last part is parent sets the position. So you see, we set the alignment here. We aligned it to be in the center, but we could align it to, let's say, bottom left. So this parent, which is the widget above the lower widget, is the one that tells it where that widget is supposed to be. So now let me show you an example that very commonly breaks your application. The row widget. So in the row widget, let's say we have a text field in here that is just super, super long. We'll save it, and right away you see an overflow problem right here. Our text in the row widget has overflowed by 118 pixels. So why does that happen? Remember, row goes all the way horizontally. That means there's no constraints for it in the horizontal position. So when the text or the widget below it in the widget tree doesn't have a horizontal constraint, it can go past the edge of the screen, and we run into this specific issue. Now, the way I would solve this is by wrapping this text in a widget called expanded. Now, if we save it, we'll see everything looks fine. So what does expanded do? Expanded tells the widget below it that to expand to the furthest distance that it can, and it basically gives it its own constraints. So an expanded gives the constraints to the widget below it on the maximum width that it can be. So expanded is often used when you have multiple things in a row and you need to make sure they're all displayed. So if we have two of these long text widgets, you'll see expanded will take up half the screen here and half the screen here, because each one will expand to the furthest that it can until it touches each other. And there we go. Now it's kind of hard to see, so let's turn one of these red. There we go. Now this expanded widget, you can also give it a little leeway. So it has a property called flex, and at first flex equals 1 here for both of these expanded widgets. That means that with all the expanded widgets, it's going to have a ratio of 1 to 1. So let's say we want to make this one a little bit bigger. We can set the flex here to 3. Now it's going to have a 3 to 1 ratio based on this expanded widget. So you should see the part that's not red should go all the way out to here. And there we go. And that's how you can deal with overflow problems that happen when you don't take your constraints in mind.